You're live right now.
Oh, that's right. I just did it, but I was thinking about something, and so I didn't look at it. So I've got to advertise this for Facebook friends
And fame.
and Twitter X. Yes, aren't you glad that I'm not in the car? Can actually focus a little better. Old school Dave, hello there. And my friends in New York and Vermont are gonna would laugh at what's considered to be a storm in Dallas, Texas, and Fort Worth.
So cute.
Well, I spelled the word developers wrong. I do that a lot. I spell something wrong in the title. That's terrible.
It's actually good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because then it draws people to it.
Oh, okay. They think an imbecile is writing it?
Just then, like, they want to come and tell you, like, hey.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So anyway, I named this Signs of the Times We Can Handle. Ask the non-religious developers of the planet and the life forms on it. That's how we can handle it, I believe, for their will to be done. In that old terminology, which is archaic terminology and is not related to what's become Christianity. To the soul called that was in the vehicle called Jesus, he would. Well, he said that there was going to be a big falling away of those that were prepared for that, and I talked about that in the last stream. How many of today's Christians appear to be the kind of reincarnation of the spirits and souls, whatever they were, uh, of those that actually went against Jesus and his followers at the time, and so they went through their because of the light being provided to the planet, light meaning not in the spiritual sense, but in the scientific sense of being multifaceted force, power, energy. Um, what next level members fill their souls with, which is the knowledge and wisdom and mind from their older members, right up to the chief of chiefs, and and then that gets uh, when an incarnate member, not incarnate, when a member of that kingdom takes over a human body snatches a human vehicle that they prepared for this. Yeah, I'm just using that because it's not religious. I'm trying not to use any religious words or spiritual words because it's really inaccurate to talk about it that way. Uh, um, um, And it's also, especially at this time, with the signs of the times, with these killings that are happening by the hands of ICE in Minnesota, these murders of people, that people, because of their actions and their relationship to the government and the the leading government at this point, which I'm not going to talk about exactly, for self-preservation reasons, because that government is a machine that is justifying everything they're doing, and thinking that they have the direction to take with what's happening in the world, and that's the beast that we've heard about in the record books. You know, it's mammalian, it's seed bearing, and not that those things are bad, but they're based on selfishness
I saw this thing where
and
somebody
greed.
was saying that like they need sex. Like that is an energy that they feed on.
Mm,
And so when you're not giving that kind of energy, they can't feed on it.
I see. Huh. That's interesting. Because Doe talked about that as it diminishes your mind capacity, actually. And because it's like giving away your force. It's a physical thing. It's a physiological thing. It's part of the species that we all the human vehicles have a certain amount of force, and some have more than others in different areas. And and so there's a certain amount that could be considered to be off the top. Um, you know, so it's not like necessarily a negative to get rid of it, but uh, the less you get rid of, and this can be on a lot of things, because sensuality includes anger, jealousies, self-centeredness to the degree that you want your way with everything, and you believe that you got the best way for everything, and you're gonna even force people into that way. That's against the next level, totally against the next level's wishes to force anybody to do anything. And uh, and so they've developed a system to where we have to ask them over and over again, not just like one time say, "Oh, I want to be in your service," and then it's a matter of asking them for each step. How can I do it better? And should I do this? Should I take this action? You know, um, should I fight fire with fire when if approached, uh, to where you're in a circumstance where people have guns and things, and it can spiral out of control very easily.
Dead.
And
Did
then
you
you're
share
dead.
it? Did you share it?
Yes.
And then get back to your chat.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not.
It's a good idea. Um,
You weren't commenting on my last stream, but I don't know how many people might come to your channel because you are not. Because we got a lot of activity going on my stream, my channel.
oh, I see.
They
Yeah.
might come over.
No, I think
Probably would know.
right, right.
My channel. Because Kathy's going mainstream over on her channel.
Yeah.
We're popping off over there.
Some of you all like old school Dave, I know, and others have been following Kathy's channel.
Like, it's.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't go viral yesterday. I'm doing some stuff with my shorts that's getting some really good traction to my channel.
Oh, True.
And it's,
So
we're right on the verge. I went to some news stations and posted, so
yeah,
I
Kathy's
got
been
a lot.
working it.
I got my last stream that I did. I got at least 20, almost 30 new subscribers. That's just the beginning. I'm hoping to be at 10K. I don't know, not by the end of this month, but I think it's going to happen pretty soon. It's going to happen really fast. I could be wrong, of course.
Yeah, it's good to recognize, that our goals, we can have goals, but it's nice to be open to things changing because that's part of asking the next level for help is that, um, you know, if it doesn't work out the way that you're hoping for it, well, maybe there's a good reason for that. It's maybe not the time for it yet, or whatever it is. But that doesn't stop you from proceeding in the direction unless you have some reasons to change that direction and adjust it. And that's the way the next level members even drive through the heavens on their spacecrafts. I know that's kind of silly sounding, but I mean the Tiendo felt like they did like a little wobble, following like magnetic lines to stay on it, even going very, very quick. Now that might be just one type of spacecraft. Yeah, maybe like the ley lines. I don't know exactly what kind of lines they were. Yeah, because we were watching them, every night uh, when we were living outdoors in Colorado and Wyoming. Yes, we had night watch. We called it right here.
You have it online?
Yes, I do. Well, I actually, when I separated it out, it leaves the live chat and it puts it back to the other one. So I just put it back. And there's somebody called there the raccoon. Okay, 6095 says what's up. And yeah, there's a lot up, I guess. It's one of the things we were going to talk about tonight, in addition to segments from audio tape 301 that's even related to this. The subject is how um, the next level provides us, allows certain influences to literally attack us and try to get us off the track of goodness in different ways and seeking their mind on how to do things and when to do things and who to do them with and what to say, what comes out of our mouths, and whether we're gonna get into squabbles that just go round and round and round and round, and with individuals misinterpreting one another and and saying things that we don't really mean and and causing disharmony and things like that. But but getting to the place to where you can get past it is is difficult.
It's so beautiful once you're there, though.
Yes,
That's magic.
it is magic. Yes, it certainly is magic.
Magic everywhere.
It's magic when we.
And T and Do were down with magic too. But not that.
Yeah, but not magic in the traditional sense of
not going out and doing all kinds of ritualistic weirdo stuff.
Right, right.
But I like that ritualistic weirdo stuff.
But
I'm
yeah,
the voice
well,
in the corner in case anybody. You can go to my stream. I'll make a comment if anybody wants to go look at my channel.
But one of the things that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll leave you alone.
No, don't leave me alone. I welcome.
I will never leave you alone.
You could see. Thanks.
You are stuck with me.
And I am stuck with you, babe. and I'm not, I'm not making any bones about that. And as far as we've had so many influences, or it just doesn't have to be so many. It can be just one or two, that are very strong, and they basically make it so that you don't know which way to go on things.
Yeah.
You're feeling like the world is coming to an end, and you feel like you don't want to try even. It can deflate your balloon so much that. Uh, but if you got your heart intent on pushing through it, then it's just a matter of time that the next level will help us and take that influence off our back a little bit so that we can get a breather and gain some new strength from that. Because even not, even staying with, even identifying the problem while you're in the middle of it is like, holy smokes, very difficult because it's like they block it. Their minds, uh, some of the lower forces on this planet, I'm talking about what in the record books would be considered to be those beings that were cut off from the creators of the planet, the developers of the planet and the life forms on it, because they wanted to do things their way. And it started very subtly, but became something that they were given opportunities to reverse, but didn't choose to. And so they decided on their own to go a separate direction. And so the next level, as they like free will, is their whole thing. They let them do it. And what did they do from it? They took advantage of it and decided that they were going to start a civilization that would provide the opportunity to rise above the force of their minds by looking to the force from the developers' minds. I'm using the word developers, but I really should use the words members of the evolutionary kingdom level above human. I'll even get rid of that word kingdom because I mean it is a kingdom. Only using that word because there is a strong association with previous times that a member of that kingdom came to the earth, whether it was through the religion that we through recognized through the religions or through some other organization, scientific organizations or organizations having to do with the spirit world and and you know who knows what else. I guess but the religions uh, all become uh, detrimental to the growth of a mind because they get mutated into thinking that you're connected to that higher being, that those higher beings, God, or whatever terms, the creators even, and some people would probably use the developers too, but uh, by just by recognizing, by thinking that you're connected because you accept the lingo and you accept what you were taught about it, and it's been working for you. You've been building something from it. You've built an organization. You're a leader now in a certain community of people. You have a church on the corner. You have a mega church over here, and you've got billions of dollars even at your disposal. Whether it's in the cathedrals in Italy or in the mosques of Saudi Arabia or the temples in India and China and Japan and all over the place, all over the world. Um, Not meaning to leave anybody out. Everybody's got their systems of that have become systems of what's considered to be belief, having the recognition of something above the human kingdom or beyond the human kingdom or greater than the human kingdom, and the way that we can perceive that in some limited ways, but not really limited ways, because the biggest evidence of the creators is this beautiful earth that we have, that Kathy keeps on reminding me is totally beautiful. It's like perfect with all its cycles and life forms that can all be growing in some way, shape, or form, all be evolving in different ways, and it's even and they're
And it's all interacting with us.
and there's all kinds of interactions happening, yeah, and and so the things that actually look at that as a reality have been demonized by those lower forces working through humans to convince those humans that that is evil, like going to the earth for uh, help. Like,
and then we can get wrapped up in that and then start having all our rituals and stuff and worshiping the earth.
right.
So, and that's, Chiendo recognized that as well.
Of how it can get off track
Yeah.
to where you're not actually recognizing that that came from something greater relative to evolution, the development of minds, you know, not that it's greater because of superiority over. It's the best way to understand that, I believe, is just like any decent human wouldn't measure the understanding of a fourth grader, or not a fourth grader, or a kindergarten, a toddler, with, you know, um, with adults that, in the human kingdom, with adults in the human kingdom, because they wouldn't have had the experience yet. So it's not a matter of they're lesser; they just haven't had the same experiences yet, and so it's just a matter of time that they will be presented with opportunities to have the same equivalent experiences that the adults have. And there's even a type of evolution that seems to happen to where, well, with the ways that the youth have gone into this area of gender consciousness, with, in all the ways that they do, but goes right along with the fact that members of the next level above human are genderless. They don't have gender. It's just not part of their development. They don't develop, they can make a body in their labs. They can grow it like on a vine, like a plant. And it can be a totally different kind of flesh. And there's evidence of this being presented to us in the crashes. And that's why the crashes have been covered up. It was a mutual cover up. The crashes of, what they said, UFOs, and like in Aztec, New Mexico, and where they said that one of the reports was that there were 18 bodies, and then there were other reports that said different numbers, and so it became confused, which is part of the strategy that the lower forces use to influence the humans to put into effect to confuse things when it comes to evidence of beings above the earth or beyond the earth. Above because of apparently the technologies demonstrated that they had systems that, like Barbara Lazar described, that were like wheel within a wheel kind of thing. A centrifugal force kind of things that were operating so that you could have occupants of a module inside of a vehicle that has an outside layer that Doe talked about in 149, tape 149 a little bit in 1982 or 3 or 4, whenever that was. And so basically you could go to speed of light or faster perhaps, though felt like was certainly a possibility. Um, that while the occupants with physical bodies weren't affected by the G-forces that humans are, subject to when they're in different environments and going at those speeds. Like you can go at higher speeds outside this immediate atmosphere without having G-forces because of, I guess, what you're working against in terms of the matter density and the type of matter, I guess, because that can be who knows how many different. Like plasma is considered to be a type of matter by scientists, and yet Doe felt like souls were containers were composed of a plasma type of matter, and they were containers, and they actually grew into beings that could actually be graduated into laboratories and opportunities to work among other members of the next level above human. And that was the reason why they've been bringing recognition of them as a reality to the humans on this in this civilization and civilizations past. Even many, many, many civilizations past, and even many planets in different solar systems past. And each time, though, for the next level, for above human, it's a new experience. It's a new experiment because they've got beings that came up in different ways according to their ways of developing the humans and the life forms in the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom are all part of that evolution. Evolutionary. It's an evolution of mind and matter. Um, there's a difference. Mind is, in a sense, a different dimension. And you can have even different dimensions of that because of, like, if you look at the way that members of the next level think and act, and they communicate silently to each other inside their heads. And so they have very refined communication systems. And like if, anyway, so you see that developing, that possibility develops in the human kingdom. And the animal kingdom has some of that. It's intuition. It's like when all the birds seemingly turn at the exact same moment. They're operating like at one mind together, but they're all different parts, and each one individual part can have its functions in that movement and even help the others behind them, by leading the way and breaking through the atmosphere together. And penguins do that. When they have a really bad winter storm, they all gather together in a close cluster and then they rotate who's going to be on the edge of that, getting the brunt of that cold and wind. See, it's like intelligence is built into our vehicles to develop in this way. And they're helping each other at the same time. They're doing things for other people at the same time, as well as for themselves. And, you know, so people that are trying to help others, you know, you can't say enough about the goodness in that. I don't mean help others by allowing them to take over another country. I don't mean that way, even though that can be used to help people, even though it might be a evil thing that's being done, evil relative to the free will. But we're not the judge of everything that happens, except for the things that, well, we just don't know uh, how to judge the overviews of things, and how the negatives can always be changed into positives. That's what I'm talking about. It's like the next level are masters of that. So okay, so take a situation to where uh, the president of a country is kidnapped. Okay,
That would be crazy.
yeah, wouldn't that be crazy?
What are
You know,
they doing to
just
them?
remove them from their castle. You know, it's like
And
and
his
so
wife. Okay.
and then you
Definitely,
have
yeah, kings.
in particular, let's say in that country, let's say 80% of the people didn't want that king, didn't like that king and their leaders.
Somebody did that right now.
Yeah, and so they might be cheering that happening, even though when you're living in the king's country, under that king, you may see that as horrific, unless you're of the mindset that hey, we can benefit from this, we can make some money here, you know, we can get those raw materials that they've got. You know, this happened in how many different countries around the earth, instigated by the governments of this uh, country that we're in right now, and and it it's coming to a head. It's being brought to a head because, but we can survive it. We can not only survive it, we
People are
can
fighting.
thrive from it.
We're going to change this country.
Yeah, and the way to change it, I believe, is with our minds, and we're looking to the next level to ask us how.
We need to talk to the Native Americans.
What?
We need to talk to the Native Americans.
Well, I'll maybe leave that up to you because I'm not
Yeah.
sure how to interface sometimes with. But yeah, I'm not against. I actually had a friend that I don't. I mean, you know, I take the word friend lightly. I mean, we were very polite terms. You know, he was asking me questions many years ago, actually, uh, uh, about things that I was talking about on my YouTube channel, and you know, I've had the channel for like I don't know, 15 years or something like that, more than that maybe, but and he was from a Hopi tribe, and his dad uh, was in the military, in I think stationed on a ship in I don't know if it was the Indonesia area or the Philippines area, but I think probably Southeast Asia area, and they would see huge spacecrafts. They're calling them spacecrafts because they made no sound, and they would go in and out of the ocean. They would see them coming up and going out into space, and they would see them coming in. And you know, this is not really strange information. This reality has existed for a long time. There were a lot of crafts seen going into the Great Lakes, well before humans had any capacity for building them. Well, I mean, I know as far as the history that we know about this, and I know there's people that say that humans have, because they grew this much from 1900 to blah blah blah, therefore they grew the equivalent amount from 1950, say, to 2000. And you've only seen the stuff that was developed in 1950. But I think they're wrong about that. Even though there's some truth to it, I believe, because they've had spacecrafts that crashed for those years, and they've evaluated them, and they've built new materials, I think, from what they evaluated, and they've learned how they run. Bob Lazar talked a lot about this. He's been talking about it for a long time, and I think they want actually that kind of information to be out there now, where it was threatening before now, and now meaning relative to the last since Tiandon left in 1997. As a good measuring point, or the 2000. But even actually, it's been later than that that I think it really started to escalate with documentaries that were made, about the bodies that were found, and some of that might have been mock, models, in order to throw people off, even though they might be modeling something that was actually quite real, like in the photographs that they took of some of the bodies that were recovered, and they were said to have some that lived through the crash, and they ended up communicating with. And I don't think that's all made up. I think there's some things that are made up about that, but um, um, of course there are, lots of things, but that's done automatically, and also because of actual people like bots actually fostering negativity, fostering confusion about what's real and what's not real. And that's happening right now, of course, big time, with all kinds of things. And usually after something happens, um, you know, uh, and you see the way that it's being covered up, then you know that what happened was real, for sure. Because otherwise there wouldn't be a cover up of it. That's one example of how, and I believe the next level above human, uh, they've got their hands on situations to where they can help people. Well, I don't know if it happened. It may happen automatically because the people that are in power, uh, they get full of their power, so full of their power that they actually believe it themselves, and they don't even see things the same way. They can watch the same video and not see because they're blocked from it. They're either blocking themselves from seeing it, or they know that there's no advantage to seeing it that way. So they're trying to be covered libelly, or so that the courts can't get them for something. But whatever their reasoning is, uh, they have blinders on, and like it was said many years ago by, I believe, a member of the next level that took over a human vehicle. Uh, um, uh, you know, they don't know what they're doing, but that doesn't change their behavior. That they don't. That's very evil, very bad, very hurtful, very manipulating, very uh, profiteering. And using humans as collateral damage. Because the people in the tops of government, they are also always kind of spinning things in order to retain their own power and not have to be culpable.
They're possessed.
Yeah, they're possessed.
They're
It is.
absolutely, thoroughly,
It is. It is
100%
possessed to
possessed.
where they can have no qualms about shooting somebody
Ordering people to
10
do them
times or
and
whatever, how
telling
many
them to,
times.
they
Having
shot him 10 times.
2 or 3 people shooting
No,
somebody.
it was like 5 to 6, 7 of them.
Really?
You saw the video.
I saw all the people there,
They were all
but I didn't
shooting
see
them.
that each one shot. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. If two did it, if one did it, two. But the more you see that happening as a mindset
We're getting
that
numb
thinks
to
that
it.
that's okay to
Yeah,
do.
we'll get numb to it. And then that's what happened in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
You get numb to it and you let it happen.
Well, you
And
don't
you
want to be
stay
shot yourself.
right. And that's why Minneapolis is so amazing that they are still coming outside of their doors when ICE comes down the street. And they're still resisting.
Hmm.
They're not letting them do what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
What they are trying to do is not what they're saying they're trying to do, because they're lying about, they said that man was trying to kill them, and it's clear that 10 guys were on top of him and had him pinned to the ground. That
Right.
man was not trying to do anything to them.
No.
And they said just like what they said about Renee Good. So they're lying.
Yeah,
So
they
when
are.
they say ICE is doing these things because of these reasons, they're lying. And if
Yes.
people don't wake the fuck up and realize that really fucking fast, this fucking country is gone. Like, we are at that fucking point, people, right now. And Minneapolis is standing up. I'm talking about this on my channel too. I'm not just sorry to take over, but god damn, y'all, we need to fucking. You know what we need to do. Or they will kill us all.
Well, I
They're
don't
doing it
believe
right now.
that taking up arms is the way.
That's not what I'm saying. I
I
don't.
just want to make sure I
Yeah,
say that
no,
at
I
least.
no, yeah, no. That they're showing Donald Trump just said guns are only criminals have guns on the streets. They've been saying the exact opposite this whole time. That's what got him fucking elected. Was him sitting there saying, "You can have your guns. We're never going to take your guns away. Guns are great. Everybody should have guns except for the bad people." But now, when everyone is the bad person, they are the only ones allowed to have the guns. That's exactly what the Second Amendment is for. So they are not the only ones with the guns. Now
Right.
the narrative is shifting. You people on the street can't have guns. We're in big fucking trouble. We are in big fucking trouble in this country.
But this country
Anybody that has
actually
any
is armed to the
problems with
teeth.
us, anybody has any problems with us
Yeah.
personally, what I'm saying is the truth.
I
This
don't think most
country is
people
in
are in
big
favor of that.
trouble.
I don't think most
But
people are
we're
actually.
letting it happen.
Well, we
We
don't
gave
really
them
know what to do.
79 billion. Well, this is what we do. This right now, we talk and we tell people we fucking do something about it. We stand up and we say, no, we're not going to let you take over like the Nazis did. There are millions of us. There are billions of us. There are 1,000 of them. There's 22,000 of them. There's 22,000 of them. And there are how many millions of people in Minneapolis? We have to fucking stop them now. They're going to Maine. We're not going to go to Cincinnati. We're too scared to go to a Democrat-run city right now.
I'm not saying that.
I am.
I don't feel that yet.
I do. We need to be really fucking scared right now. People, we need to be really scared right now. Because we are not scared enough. We're going to stand by and what we are standing by. They've already rounded up how many thousands of people in this country. Where are all those people? Where are they? Where are they? That's exactly what they did to the Jews. That's exactly what they did to them.
I don't,
6 million people.
I don't think things happen necessarily exactly the same as they did before. I think they don't.
Jonestown, they had a plaque that said, history repeats itself, and they were all fucking laying there dead. 900 people laying there dead.
So why are you talking about that one?
They had a little plaque that said, be mindful of history, it will repeat itself. We learn from history. It does happen exactly the same.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it happens the same in some ways.
They kill us.
Yeah.
They, the Donald Trumps, the Stephen
forces,
Millers,
they do try
all
to
those
get rid
fucking fucks, the Hitlers, they kill us.
Yeah.
They make us kill each other. That's what ICE is. ICE is those fucking MAGA people.
But right. But they're not actually
that
killing
don't
us.
like brown people. What do you mean? They are
because
killing us.
They can only kill our vehicle. They can't kill our mind. They can't kill our soul.
Sorry, I'll stop. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that's a little thing to.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry. I got all crazy.
Okay.
It's your stream. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Kathy's
so,
got a lot of passion about.
Yeah, we cannot let this.
Right.
Let them do this to us.
Right, but that's not. That's not saying that violence is an answer.
No.
And also not saying that violence can be,
I don't know
we don't know how many people. See, this is what happens. And this is a reality I've known about for a long time, and it's coming to pass now in a more visible way now than it was before.
Yeah, you've been saying it for a really long
Okay,
time.
I've been saying it for a long time, but I've also experienced it. I have somebody that I know was engaged in. I don't know any specifics, but I know that during the world, when there would be meetings of the G7 and the G20 and the G10 before the G20, in the United States, like in Seattle, they had one, and in Florida, they had one. There was a group of people that they were organized, very organized, to fight against that, and they would use tactics, and they didn't weren't always peaceful. And I think they became known by some different names, but they were provocateurs inserted into the demonstrations to actually do the terrible things that then would generate the riot police or whatever to do terrible things back to them. And they'd be tear gassed, and they'd be. And I was watching this on the news, but you only see a little blip of it. You wouldn't see it played over and over again, and because they didn't want to put a lot of attention on it. I'm talking about 20 years ago. I was watching these things, and I knew somebody that was among those people that were going from one G7 meeting to the next, and being part of being having some opposition to that whole machine. Now, I don't think the G7. I talk about the G7 as being like the global seven, of the seven heads of the beast in the record book, and the G, and the 10 being the financial ministers of uh, uh, those seven, um, and others added in, with the financial added in to the ones that were considered to be the heads, which I think the heads are uh, United States, um, well, certainly England, France, Italy, I think. I might be wrong about that. Just look up what the G7 is, the names. Because, and then the G11, the G10 became the G11, with Russia being, Soviet Union was added to, as the G11. So they were actually being brought into the global government until they went into Crimea and took over Crimea, and then they were thrown off the G11. And anyway, there's a lot to be said about all that. But what I'm saying is the provocateurs are put there, and and uh, this is a strategy to get people off track and to get people to just wreak havoc over things. Like the riots that happened in 20, what was that, 2020,
Well, I mean, you could
2021.
even go back to LA,
Yeah, oh yeah, with the Rodney King and all the
Yep.
riots that happened there, and the Watts riots, and uh, uh, I don't know if that was before that or after that, and then the Chicago Seven, and the riots that happened in Chicago during the Vietnam War and things, and all the things that were happening, the bombings that were happening by the students of upstate New York, where I knew another person was among them when they were doing things like that. I don't know if he was part of any of the group or not, but at the time, because I certainly wasn't. But uh, it's I I don't know what's going to happen, and I know that the signs are among us, And uh, and yes, I believe it is a time that each person uh, needs to think seriously about where they want to, who they want to stand for, what they want to stand for, and to express that they don't stand for what's happening, to me is a positive energy. Um, and I think they should do it though in a way that isn't promoting violence, because I don't think it's going to change it. I think what's going to happen is what we've seen happening. It's going to get worse. There's going to be more violence because there's going to be more people willing to use violence, and then the government's going to have say that they're justified, and they're probably even going to say that those are foreign people that are being interjected into the events, that are there as provocateurs when that might not even be happening. But it doesn't have to be that way, because there are people that can't not try to go there and help, and then you can see how that gets twisted with um, uh, well, with like with what happened with Rittenhouse, to where I think he was stupid, that young person, to go to that riot that was happening where they were burning dumps. They were setting dumpsters on fire and pushing the dumpsters towards the gas station. In some of the video that I saw about that, and they were other individuals in that riot were also had guns, and they were looting, and they were breaking windows, and they were toppling cars over. They were putting setting cars on fire, and to go into that environment with a rifle, and to think that you were going to help a situation by bringing a rifle to that event.
Right.
It's like, it's
Like an
insane.
assault, like it
It's
looked like
totally
like a
insane.
machine gun.
Right. And so there was some shooting there going, and he killed two people, I think.
Yeah, he did.
And he
And he got away with it.
I don't know if he was wounded or not. Yes, because he walked right by the police after he did it, and they let him go because I guess they
Because he
thought
was
he was
white.
a right winger
Because
or
he was
something.
white. Yeah,
They thought that for some reason that he was
he's
on
okay.
their side.
But if it was a black dude doing that,
Oh yeah, then it would have been no way he would have got through that
he would
line.
have, yeah, he'd have been dead.
That's probably true. I hate to say that.
Yeah, it's been happening since this country. This country was founded by racist motherfuckers.
Yeah, yeah. A lot
There's
of them
no
were.
question about it. We killed
Yeah.
all of the people that were here. They're in fucking concentration camps, basically.
Even
They
Thomas,
got delegated to the worst places in this country. They're still there.
yeah, their ancestors. They're the ancestors of
No, I'm saying the
some of the.
Native Americans that are living right
Oh,
now
the Native
are the
Americans.
reservations
Right.
are shitholes. And they will say that themselves.
Except for the ones that are making the money
They
from it.
don't make money from casinos. It's just like I was telling you about the scams about the daycares. They make enough just to, like we make enough just to get by.
In the casinos?
Barely. Yes. They're not making like enough to fit. They have a reservation is a whole city.
Uh-huh.
Have you driven on I know you
Yeah.
lived on one,
Well,
but
yeah,
that
but
was
it wasn't
in a
big. It
different
was
kind of
very
place.
small. It
Like
was
the
different.
reservations around Phoenix, Arizona are fucking shitholes.
Yeah.
They're burned houses that are just left there. There's trash. There's packs of wild dogs running around, literally a
Yeah.
mile from Phoenix.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're like, where the hell am I? Guess what? You're on reservation land.
Right.
Boom, just like that. Yes, they have little community centers. Yes, they might have like a basketball court that they made, and yeah, they might this one might have a casino, and so they have a little convenience store and they sell tobacco and liquor cheaper because they don't have tax. Like, what? they're not doing okay just because they have one fucking
I
casino
was
here
thinking
and
of the
there.
ones in New Jersey and New York, upstate New York
They're
by
still not, like, maybe
Niagara
those guys are
Falls.
doing something a little bit different. But the ones that, I mean,
No, I don't know how the people are living because I don't know
they're
if the people that are
delegated to
getting the
like the
money,
worst places ever.
I don't know if the people that are getting the money from those casinos are actually benefiting anybody from it, but themselves, or and maybe they don't even get by.
Right, so those are
Maybe they
not
give it all
like
away. I
they're
don't
right,
know.
and maybe, but like even if they are, like, how much money can you take to give 1,000 people that are all living in absolute squalor?
Yeah.
Like, how much money does it take?
Well, it's capitalism. It breeds greed. So,
They can
you
only
know,
do, just like we can only do so much.
yeah,
We can't give food to every single homeless person standing on the corner that we see, or money.
there's so many anymore. Uh,
Anyway, sorry,
yeah.
I got back on my soapbox. Do you have comments to get to?
No, everybody's enjoying our little back and forth and everything, I think. Maybe not. Maybe nobody's here.
What?
We've got 9,000 people watching. No, 9 people watching. But each of those people are worth 1,000.
It's true.
I'm only joking, but
No, you're not.
maybe that's true. I
He
don't know.
really does think that.
I'm not the judge of that. I'm not the judge of anything, hardly, except myself. And even that, I can't judge entirely. But I think it's good to examine ourselves to what we could change, especially when, you're having a hard time. That's what I titled this. Signs of the times. To me, ask the non-religious. It's very important that to know that the developers of this planet, the evolutionary level above the human members of this planet, are not religious, not at all. There's no sign of religiosity with them. And the religions are the distortion and the dilution of what happened in the past when the next level was trying to bring the human kingdom into more civilization, more civilized behavior. And there has been development in that regard. But that doesn't mean that it's just as primitive as can be in terms of the fact that people are killing each other. That's primitive behavior. Um, and there's ways like, or killing somebody in an electric chair. That's primitive behavior to do that. T felt like there were other ways of handling a violent person than by killing them. And Doe did feel like the prime directive that was talked about in Star Trek was uh, uh, from the next level. That's why they gave that as an elementary lesson that humans should not kill humans. And yet all these people justify it, and we live under a system that has justified it all our lives. Everybody's lives were, you know, justified. That if these individuals were bad, or if they had something that we wanted, I say we, but I'm talking about people, then they were justified to go get that material and steal it from that other tribe or whatever, and then the tribes, the groups of people. I'm not saying tribe because I'm relating it to the American Indians or anybody else as primitive. I'm not saying they're not primitive. Uh, Humans live in tribes too. We're all in tribes. However you want to look at it, whether we're wearing a loincloth or a suit. We've got tribal behavior. We look to certain leaders and certain standards of medicine and leaders in that community and this community and the the good hunters and the whatever else there is, the farmers, the people that can grow food without having to kill it. kill it, kill a higher being than a plant. Because in a sense, an animal is a little bit higher of a being because it can provide more service. In that way, it's everything. Service is good. To think that things are in service and that's their whole existence is to be in service to something else. If that something else is above them in the evolutionary process, then why wouldn't that be a good thing? But if they're giving service to, but see, they don't distinguish between, who gets service, and then they say that well, we're in service to the good of the world. We got to protect our shipping ports, because we've got to run this place so that we can have what? We can have control over our enemies, the other people that want to run the place or parts of the place. And that was the thing with the Trilateral Commission that came out. That came about from my little limited study of it because of um, the ones that were on the top, so to speak, the bankers and the families of the bankers and blah blah blah. Uh, um, you know, Deciding that there could be three powers in the world that could be in charge of the world. And so the planet was divided into three hemispheres. Well, not really hemispheres, but three locations, which was North America and South America was one, and the United States was going to have that. And then Europe and Africa were going to be uh, Hitler's domain, Germany's domain. And then Soviet Union and I don't know, it was confused at that point because China has always been very big, very powerful. But I guess, to some degree, and Japan, well, that was going to be the other axis. Maybe it was Japan was maybe more of it because Japan had been westernized by then as well. Well, actually, they were the ones that were, they're going to divide up the planet that way. But it didn't go that way, I guess. Or if it did, I'm not sure how to
What are you doing
identify
with
it
that
now.
keyboard?
Sorry, I'm fidgeting. But let me get off. I'll get off the
Do
track.
you need it on your lap?
What happens to animals in the next level? Like, where do our pets go? They go to um, they go into the spirit world, and they associate with the families that they're brought into. They can maintain that association just like they did when they were living, is my understanding of it. I don't know that from experience, uh, but Kathy kind of knows that from more experience than I do with the last animal that Kathy had as a pet was
She wasn't a pet.
yeah, I shouldn't say pet as if it was a negative play toy or something. I don't know. That's what I
Well,
don't
no,
want. I
I
don't want to
just
conjure up that negative.
she just wasn't. None of the animals that I've,
Evie.
yeah, Evie, but any of the animals that I've been able to care for and have able to care for, I honestly I haven't considered them pets. Georgia was my first.
And
Um,
Georgia was a Chihuahua, right?
Georgia. I named her after Georgia O'Keeffe, who is a artist. She's since
Yes, I
passed,
know
but
that artist.
yeah, so I named her after that artist. Yeah, Georgia passed a while ago, and she lived to be 21, I think.
And Kathy would take her all kinds of
Yeah,
places in her
Georgia was, yeah,
in her
very
purse or
special.
bag
Oh no,
or
I didn't have a purse. No, she would.
backpack.
It looked like I was pregnant because I would just have her up against my stomach in a pouch, like just right in my shirt. She would
hmm
just, I would tuck it like up and she would just be in there. I don't even know how I did it. But like she traveled all across the United States with me everywhere. I took her into the fanciest restaurant everywhere. I took her everywhere.
hmm
Um, was fun. But I don't think I considered her a pet. They've been like my friends.
But my
But
understanding from T and Do is that,
I have a different perspective on.
well, do you want to say more about it? You're certainly welcome to.
Nah.
Um, I just want to bring what I believe T and Do said about pets,
Yeah.
or not pets, but animals that were domesticated. Is what I was getting at. Is that once they become domesticated, they're now having an association with the higher kingdom level. Because humans are higher only in the way that they have more choices to be better, to be good, or to be bad. I mean, it's as simple as that in some ways. Um, uh, you know, but like it's good to be nice to people, but it's also good to be honest with people sometimes, and and to help them when they're doing something that's not right. To try to give them help with that. Um, uh, and it's also, but there's also kindness, and there's also tolerance, and there's also patience, and animals can teach us a lot of those things. And so, but then when the animal dies, like let's say in a family, then that animal stays with that family, just like humans that die in a family generally stay with their family, unless they formed a bond while they were alive with another family or another group of people or different friends, or they get married or something. And
I think they're just like
right,
they can
they stay around what they know. They stay around what they have become and
But
what.
like what T and I don't know. I think from what I recall from the tapes that I was that typically the animals aren't like reincarnating up into the human kingdom. Like they're at a different kind of soul growth level. They did not use that terminology, soul growth. That's my terminology. But that those particular individual beings weren't at the soul growth where like a cat is gonna come back in its next incarnation as Sawyer.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say though. I
I
was
know
gonna,
that's what I was.
yeah,
Yeah, just because I remember him saying that from the tapes. So,
right,
like
right.
a bug, an insect, a spider is not going to reincarnate as a human, but a spider may reincarnate as a cat.
I don't know. Maybe that's one way of looking at it. It's possible, I guess. I don't know
That
what
actually makes sense.
the
Like cats
progression
and
is.
spiders.
Yeah. So we're talking about the way that spirit influences vehicles, because that's what we're talking about. It's like, so let's say the family has a pet, and whether that pet dies or not, uh, that let's say there's a child that's born into that family, and that family has pets. Okay, and that child forms a bond with the pet. Okay, they're actually forming a bond to where when that animal dies, they are going to continue to have that bond. And so, that person that had that bond might feel that presence of uh, that um, member of their family from the animal kingdom. And you can see that the animals that get to a place to where they don't desire to be the same as the animals that are not in as much of a domesticated circumstance, that's an indication that they're bonding more with their master and the master's family. Like for instance, the way Teen Do talked about it was that you could open the door. I don't know if they use that exact example, but you could open the door of the house, and the dog that you have living as your part of your family in that house might see other dogs running out there, but they wouldn't want to go out and run with them anymore because they like what they have. I mean, maybe it's as practical as liking that they get fed and liking that they have fun and and it's warm and those are all the characteristics that are provided to them by the humans that they don't have to work for anymore, and they like that, and so they're evolving into being so much so that the next newborn, it can continue to be influenced by that mind and even take on some of the characteristics of that invisible spirit of a cat or a dog. And that individual, in some circumstances, might even seem to other humans as not equally developed with other humans. Even though that's not necessarily all the reasons for why a human vehicle could appear to be have certain characteristics, weaknesses. But even though that could be also a lesson, an advanced lesson, to be in a vehicle that has certain weaknesses and being seen that way. And it can also provide a lot of service. Those are the positives that can come out of that. Even if let's say humans were messing with the birth of a human, they were giving people, medicine so that they could conceive, and so it produced 10 embryos or something, and some of them, yeah, and some of them were distorted, they formaldehyde babies and things like that. Uh, you know, there can be lessons, positives that can come out of that, even though the next level wouldn't desire for that to happen. The next level wouldn't, if they saw something like that happened in something that they created to try to come up with a good result in birth or something like that for somebody, then they wouldn't give that to other people to take. But the way it happens in the human kingdom, because the lower forces want humans to be able to develop to actually grow their own humans, which they don't really know how to do that well yet. They don't know how to, fix the organs and, the problems, and they don't know how to do hardly any of that. And they barely know how to do some of it. And they don't even do that well because they have, people that get organ transplants have to be on immune suppressant medicines for their whole lives. And sometimes that can mess with their immune system, but they might get a few more years, maybe even a lot of years from that. So it can become a positive. It's like those things aren't negatives, but when individuals learn that they've got these side effects, then a lot of times they justify that as collateral damage, and they don't want to go through the work of taking it off the market. That's the problem with market capitalism. That's one of the problems with it, is that, once they've got a model for receiving grant money, they need to keep on getting that grant money from the government in order to justify keeping on going. And so if you can find a project that has an unlimited quest for money, a thirst for money, then you've got a really good Ponzi scheme. And I believe that's what happened with the whole global warming agenda, was to get humans to have all this money to develop the electric cars. And I'm not saying that that's a total negative. I'm not saying it is at all. I'm saying it can be, but they had people believing that they were going to actually change the weather by not consuming so much carbon, and they used that to justify a program that the WEF was talking about on their websites, the World Economic Forum, uh, that in order to reduce the population of humans and also to reduce the ability of humans to actually have the freedom of having their own automobiles. They wanted everybody to be on mass transit, like in some other countries that don't have so many automobiles, and they were justifying that as saying it would be putting out less carbon dioxide, and uh, and so you would basically stop the planet from warming by creating the greenhouse gas effect. And they're trying to block the sun. That's another thing that they're trying to do with some of the chemtrails. I understand, and I makes sense to me that that's probably something they're doing. I know Bill Gates has had some programs for blocking the sun. He's talked about actually on like TED Talk and things like that. Yeah. So
These tech bros
yeah, I mean, so
trying
these
to bring
people that are right,
control.
the tech bros, the
Yeah.
the billionaire class,
Mhm.
are managing, doing a lot of
They're
things, and
crazy.
they're influencing a lot of people. They have control over a lot of people's salaries and their developments and patents and all the things that come about from that become, more and more profits. And that is that is all part of this mechanism that we live within that is phony. It's really phony baloney.
That's
It's a like T&O would call it a facsimile of life because it's not really uh, well, it's not next level. It's not real. It's not like a kingdom level. It's like thinking that they're evolved when they're not evolving in behavior because all they're doing is developing technology to try to live forever, which is, they're also trying to do that. They're hands on trying to do that. They're also trying to build technology to develop elements that can be used to give the effect of anti gravity that they got from the crash spacecrafts that they know about. And the next level provided them with that so that um, they would have evidence of beings that were developed that appear to be from different places in outer space. Because that is the reality of the next level, evolutionary level above human. They exist in a transient way where they don't have one place that is their home forever. Even home. They have quarters in whatever spacecraft they're working on, or planetary spacecraft that they're working in, where they spend their private time or whatever, or their time when they're not on duty in a lab here or a lab there. And one of the labs is monitoring when people are asking for help on this planet. It shows up on their computer systems as a little more thirst than other people are having at the time. And they have mechanisms, they have ways of addressing what people are asking for to help them. And so the more people that are asking for help, and there's some truth to that idea that they've been talking about for over centuries, that the ascended masters were said to have gone into the mountains in the Himalaya. You okay?
sorry.
Going to the mountains in the Himalayas and were praying for peace. And that those prayers for peace were very powerful prayers that could affect peace all over the planet. And that's what the religious say also of the highest religions, that pray for peace, pray for that, pray for that. And that's all fine and well that you are putting out some but um even though this isn't popular to say, the next level wants there to be a certain amount of uh, of difficulty in this experiment because it accelerates our growth to have difficulties. Because if we rise above them, if we give in to them and we go with what the lower forces of this planet uh, automatically want for us, want to influence us in some direction, uh, um, and then the more we do that, the less we're actually drawing on the minds of the next level, and the less perspective we have of the next level's reality, and the less uh, um, force we have to get through our difficulties in a way that would be more of a next level way of doing it, instead of like you see happening in the world, to where, like in Iran, for instance, I don't know, it was a double digit thousand number, like like 15,000. They verified this. Different sources verified this, so I don't doubt it. 15,000 people were killed down, were mowed down by machine guns and other weapons in Iran, and that that's a trickle down effect, not trickle down, but all those people had families probably, and those individuals were perhaps doing maybe the most good they could do. I think a lot of them were protesting being forced to wear
Burqa.
the burqa, sorry, because you're not supposed to be
I
forced
think
into
that's
it.
what it's called. I could be wrong about that.
I mean, there can be a value to that. Doe felt like that was an indication of somebody trying to, you know, not let their flesh become, um, well, you get a reason to, not bring you difficulties, bring you danger, because of people that want to abuse you. So it was, not, um, and to not use that as a way to get your way. That's another way that can be used, or to hide from responsibility for something. You know, things can be used and abused. I mean, so, but that it's not necessarily Doe felt like it was more. They had more, not piety, more. I mean, it's not necessarily chastity, but the idea of being restrained with our sensuality
Purity.
is from the next level's point of view. They do want us to grow to be evolving beyond mammal forms of uh, growth and development, even though the way of doing that is to use the human vehicle and have experiences and determine what experiences you want to keep and which ones you don't, and getting rid of the ones that are harmful to you in body or mind. And so, in that way, evolution takes place in all different ways when we have adversity, and like even health effects. So you have, if you uh, um, if you've taken a whole bunch of substances that have a real detrimental effect on you, then and you get glued to that, then you might find yourself, you know, uh, swinging at somebody to hurt them in some way, because you don't like what they said or what they did, or and it can have all kinds of negative behaviors, hurting people and things like that. And if somebody gets raised in that circumstance, then they get to have a challenge overcoming the negativity that they got from that parent or caregiver. But and if they ask the next level for help, the highest source they can imagine existing that created the planet and the life forms on it, if they're projecting way beyond into the heavens, beyond the frequencies that even the space aliens can't intercept, because the space aliens aren't above the humans, except for their experiences that they still retain that came from the next level. But that doesn't make them above human, because they're still doing things in the human kingdom that keeps them human. Not that human's a bad thing. Human is a beautiful condition. But the next level only has an open door for a certain amount of graduates, even though if there was a whole much more than they expected and hoped for, they would love it. But they know that it's not going to be that many, because they know how many they're actually working with, directly and indirectly. But nothing's wasted. So goodness is never wasted. So we don't have to really have the kind of overview that I'm talking about, because it can also be used uh, to look like a negative, that everybody's not going to graduate into the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, the evolutionary level above human at the same time. Now, everybody's not going to move into the next grade in school for them, for their mind, in that vehicle, with that ancestry, with those genes, at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. So some people are going to learn that this addiction is bad for them, and other people might still continue to have that addiction, but then they might conquer that addiction later, or they might have conquered another addiction that they didn't have, that this other person didn't conquer yet, and didn't have the opportunity to conquer it yet. And conquering it also has stages of conquering it, degrees of conquering it. So it's not controlling your life. So it's good, because everything can be used as a tool. I'll get to the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still playing with that thing. That was Baby Yoda that asked that question. Did you have someone that was named Baby Yoda come into your stream?
Oh.
You were saying baby something. Baby girl, maybe you?
Oh yeah, that was somebody named Baby Girl. They were a dasher.
Oh, okay. So, evening. Oh yeah, I think old school Dave is talking to Krell probably.
Krell, I think, was hanging.
Yeah, Krell, how you doing there? Krell came into Kathy's stream the other day. Yeah, that stream is for Kathy to, do her thing and be. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I got 19,000 views.
19,000 views?
Over the last 2 days.
2 days. That's 2 streams, right?
My retention.
A stream and.
My retention is slowly getting up. The channel is about to pop the off.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
When I first looked at this, I was at like 12%. Now I'm at 35. Pretty soon, it's going to
We want to use it for good in different ways. Yep.
We're going to drive all over the country delivering Uber Eats.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's safe.
Yes. And everybody, can be in the same motion.
Yep, see, look, YouTube's starting to push me out.
Not of us, but the same motion of wanting to work for the creators of the planet and the life forms on it. And I identify those as T and Do. But if somebody else doesn't use those names, then that's their business, Nobody is the judge of anybody else.
Interesting. People are finding me from Discord.
Oh.
Interesting. I wonder if that's from the DoDash person. If she put me on, I don't know if she's got a because I'm getting
If she
big.
does the gaming things,
I'm
then
getting
that would be Discord.
well, no, that's the other gal. I'm
Twitch, that's Twitch.
That's Twitch. I
Twitch.
haven't really got like I'm getting some big YouTubers can like attention on me, which is really exciting because they're promoting my channel. It's really exciting what's happening right now.
So Jerry Aguilar
You
Manjujano is
don't
here.
have to try to pronounce everybody.
I know. Well, I try to, but I know Jerry's been here before, so good to see you. Whether you're here before or not, it's good to see you.
My click through rate's starting to get a little better.
So let me get to the main subject that I was gonna. Well, I already touched on it a bunch of times, but
98.
it's the next level are not religious, and if you want me, the beginning of the stream talks about why that is more. Well, the next level gave us the evidence of their biological containers that they wear, their vehicles that they wear, some examples of them, which they can grow on a vine, and it's a more sophisticated vehicle, but it doesn't have the same reaction in the human environment because the human environment is considered a dense physical atmosphere and environment. And it's also very low in its vibration because of the presence of those souls and them, the next level, allowing them to project their minds on humans growing over a millennium to influence them to grow in certain directions. Like they really want to get humans to make weapon systems that they could use to hopefully what they would say is to fight against the alien threat, or what they would say is the threat from the bad aliens. So to them, the bad aliens are the creator. They don't know this, or they probably wouldn't do it. So forgive them for they don't know what they do. But and that's not easy to do. I'm not saying I could do that very well, but it's something. It's a perspective that is real that the next level has that knows. So something to grow towards. But but the idea is that they want to get off the planet because they have it. Like Doe wrote about this in the USA Today information advertisement in 1992. That was no three. That was put on USA Today in fine print, like 6-point type, I think, or maybe even below that. But it was put in there, and so they want to get off the planet. So they want humans to develop space programs. So because they don't, even though they have spacecrafts that they had with them when they disconnected from the next level service, apparently those spacecraft must last for a really long time. They'd be able to be operational a very long time in human years. That doesn't mean that they can operate forever. And that doesn't mean that they can operate the same way forever. It can be like a battery that loses some of its power over time, over maybe millennium of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years before it loses its force that Bob Lazar documented as, I forgot what the element number was, but some element 115 or something like that. Anyway, so which might be the element that's on Ceres, and they want to go to Ceres, the humans do, and harvest those elements, find out what's on those elements, what's there that's producing light and heat some of the elements are producing bright light, and some of them are producing bright light with heat, because they measured it when they sent the um, the Dawn spacecraft. I think it was Dawn that went to Ceres, and New Horizons that went to Pluto. Both at the same that came to see those planets, those dwarf planet, or whatever you want to call them, or the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt, close up for the first time at the same time in 2015, the same proximate months, like I think around August or so. I might remember that wrong because I was studying it. I was writing my book at the time, and I was seeing this through BP Earthwatch's channel because he was following all the things that NASA was doing, and he was doing all kinds of really good work. And it's the real BP Earthwatch if you go on YouTube to see his channel. I'm not saying I agree with everything he talks about, but I certainly respect a lot of the things that he's done to bring to light things that were happening, through telescopes that were on the SOHO satellite and others. And so so anyway, so the so the technologies that are being developed, and that's another thing. The space aliens don't know how to grow human bodies. They don't know how to grow organs that can be put together in a human container. They don't know how to do those things. Not because, I mean, some of them might have some experience in those labs if the next level gave them tasks to do associated with labs that were doing that kind of work. And so they might have experience, but they also can have some experience with knowing that there are individuals that are developing bodies. It's not just like a happenstance kind of thing that happens, and and they can know that because they graduated into next level membership that was very elementary level. So that would have meant that they were doing mostly observational things to where they couldn't actually mess something up. And that they probably couldn't be very close to some of the older members yet. There's probably a trial period. I don't say probably, I know there is, before new members can be around very long around other members, certain other members, because it becomes like like if their minds aren't, if they don't have, they're not going to. When an individual from the human or human equivalent evolutionary level of life becomes a member of the next evolutionary level of life, they're like a child at that point in their mind development. And there's things that they can't do because they don't know how to do it. They don't have the force to do it. They don't have the like a human doesn't have the automatic ability to be a really good pole vaulter or dancer or Uber driver. It's like it's not you're not going to have anything automatically. You're going to have it because you do it, huh?
Yeah.
Because you do it. You do the task.
You keep doing.
You keep doing it. And then you develop your mind to have the ability to do that task.
But was there more in the chat?
Okay. So, Krell says, I hope I can be of some use to somebody for the next level is all. This body's still good for that for sure. I think so too, Krell. I mean, if that's your desire, it's going to be it's going to be happening. I mean, at least the opportunities will present themselves, and day by day, that can change. And you can kind of like it's like using a feeler. Like think of the feeler like as the solar plexus of the body, like right in the core of the vehicle, as being your little radar device that you're in a circumstance or you hear some information and your feeler goes off and you like recognize it as something that means something to you and you know as a something you're drawn to. You know, that could be a body of information. It could be another person. It could be a number of things that it can be. It can be the next level information, of course. You know, that's the way but all those things at the same time can be happening. And so that somebody, if you're coordinating that desire with actually asking, like, what do you think about this? Tiendo, you know, would you think that putting my energy into this direction would be from your mind, and then not trying to like demand that as an answer, and then I mean I'm not trying to describe how and what kind of thrust somebody puts with it, but it does take some thrust. They don't take casual questions. I'm not saying they would never will. Okay, it depends on what kind of.
But you're messing around with the time you got with them.
Yeah, that's right. You can't take things for granted, right?
Don't be wasting the time you got. You have their attention. Don't be messing around with casual shit.
Kathy's been saying some things tonight in particular that are blowing my mind
I am fire.
because of how much
I am a freaking
I hear those
conduit.
things coming from T.
I am a conduit right
I can
now.
hear her. I can hear their mind coming through her.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I mean
it's not
the first time I've seen it.
It's not me.
I've seen it a number of times.
Because I am.
But I know that Kathy also can be influenced by other minds.
Yes.
And I can too. And I am influenced by other minds. I know that.
Just going through that last night.
Yes. We went through a very difficult time last night.
This morning and yesterday.
Yeah.
I live streamed it all.
No, you didn't. You muted it sometimes.
I muted it because it got so bad. But I'll
bad
comment.
Meaning,
good, bad meaning good.
No, but bad meaning
I'm pulling
what?
out all kinds of shorts and stuff. Let me go on my other phone because I got two phones.
Let me describe what bad is with us.
Oh yeah, we're so like mellow compared to like people kicking and screaming and yelling and.
Yeah, we've got it down to where we're not really yelling anymore.
But for us, it's bad.
We have done some yelling though, and recently.
Actually, yeah, we've had a wonderful breakthroughs. Amazing things have been going on.
It showed me, things that I didn't have under control.
Yeah, baby.
Because there's no reason to like punch a door.
That was me.
I did. I did it in the bathroom there. On that door, I smashed it a few times.
You bad boy.
3 or 4 times.
You threw stuff at me.
I threw a tissue at you or something.
He threw a tissue at me and you threw a pillow at me.
I threw a pillow at you?
You threw this pillow that
But not hard.
No, not hard. But he threw a pillow at me. We didn't stream that, of course. That's personal stuff. But I'm just saying.
So
y'all are gonna see a different.
We're going through it.
I'm gonna comment right now.
I never did that in the classroom. I never did. Before the classroom, I did that one time. I hit a wall with my fist because I was angry with somebody else. But one other time, I think, is the only other time that ever happened. That was like when I was 18. And it was a kind of a jealousy kind of thing. Because, that jealousy can be a real booger, that can get us. And like anger can also be a real booger, uh, especially when it, is directed onto somebody else. Because then it's not just affecting you with that vibration. Now you're actually infecting somebody else with it, and they can go down the same road to where before you know it, they're picking up swords and having a fight. I'm just being illustrations in that regard.
Dave says the whole world stops for authority. That's funny.
But to have control and to not let ourselves get to that kind of stage is, for some people, not so difficult of a lesson because maybe they learned that already, or they just haven't been in a circumstance that stimulated it. So you don't know why they don't do it. Um, but but then there's some that probably in a previous experience in the human kingdom, like a different actual incarnation, or in their spirit background, the mind that came from their ancestors through their genetic code that became their subconscious mind, uh, um, that even has a kind of time release on it to where it might happen at different ages of the vehicle more. Like during, like for a vehicle that's got the female parts, it's called menopause. And during
Right,
and males have some kind of equivalent to that. It can also be associated with change of life or um, people say that, well, males go through it too in their own ways, but not being virile anymore, and uh, and influences can leave the person if they're not able to, like there's discarnate influences for everything in the human kingdom, even walking. My understanding is that there's discarnates that help vehicles learn to walk. Uh, um, and the discarnate, the way they can help somebody is by having the confidence to do it, having the courage to try. Let's say you were injured in an accident and injured your spine. And the doctors look at it and they say, you know what? We don't see a physical reason for this to be still an injury. But you might have had a mental injury on that part of the body that somehow happened. I don't know how that can happen sometimes, but I think all things are possible. Um, and there is evidence of people having, uh, they don't know why they can't feel anything in their body. And it could be a nerve thing that humans just don't know how to detect yet, you know. But by a mind, the power of the mind can have power over the vehicle. Unless the vehicle is so overcome with a physical problem that it's that if that physical problem is keeping that individual from growing to their capacity, then the next level would might even uh, I don't know cause the death of, but not try to stop uh, the the loss of that vehicle, um, because they know that the mind that gained,
That's funny you said spine, because like the mind is connected, to the
yeah,
spine. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
because the mind got the learnings, got the force to be able to control the vehicle, but the vehicle was too far gone. So the next level then can say, okay, I'm going to save that mind for a future opportunity to grow and put them in relationship with a new vehicle that they can then come into to learn some future lessons, learn some new lessons. And that can happen Who knows how fast in the human kingdom? Or the next level might save that spirit for a while and bring it back when there's an opportunity for that mind to have certain experiences that they might not have in this current society. It could even be a new civilization. And so nothing is wasted by the next level. All growth is used and helped to encourage it to continue to grow. Like it's like a farmer that is raising roses, and they want to get the best rose they can grow. Has the best fragrance that they can imagine a rose having. It has the best colors and the strength of its amount of roses it's putting out, and it's all those things. It's like it was talked about in the record books as becoming a bird, becoming a tree that all these life forms can then grow upon. And that tree then can even become an older member of the next level that can have new members of the next level born into their kingdom through. And then that older member gets experience with being, what was in the ancient terminology was the the father role, but that's not related now because there's no greater role in the human kingdom. And there's probably greater aspects and characteristics in each of the genders and even with the non-gender parts of or the both genders of the parts of our vehicles.
Can I show you something really quick?
Oh, sure.
So Uber just sent me this. I don't want to accept it because you're going to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be really good.
4 trips.
This isn't that good. People are trying to reserve trips now because there's not a lot of drivers out.
All right.
It's going to be surging, maybe. It probably will be.
Right. I probably got some of the same ones, maybe.
I don't know if they've been sending you stuff like
No, I
this
have
or
been getting
not.
some.
This is 4 trips starting at 4. We're not going to be working this. You're not going to be working this early. We're not. You'd have to be online, and they're all the way over here, and it takes us an hour and a half just to get down here.
So we're not gonna do. We wouldn't accept those.
No, because
Right.
we're not working that early. But I just wanted to show you,
Yeah.
like what they're offering me, and this is going to be from 4:30 to basically 6:30. And it says it's a total of 52 miles for $68. Like, that's not bad. That's not the same thing. That's just that little, stupid promotion thing of the driving insight thing. That's just, you're not going to hit that.
What is that thing? I don't remember that menu, that time.
That's just the calendar, and it's been there the whole time.
Okay.
There, that's ending now. You didn't get any of those. That was that 30 right thing.
Right. So what do I need that for now?
Nothing, but you were looking at it.
Yeah. No. Go ahead to the reservation.
You don't have any.
Oh, you just looked at it, right?
Yeah. So I'm getting these, but you're not.
Yeah.
My point of bringing this up though is that I think it's going to be really good.
Usually
tomorrow.
it comes up though and tells me that there's none when I click that.
It already did.
Oh, so
you have this on too. Yeah, it's just because we have that too.
Oh, I
so
see.
You just take that off.
I see.
There you go. No, I'm just showing you that because I have a feeling that like people need to go. This first person.
No, I was getting that vibe earlier when you were showing me different ones that were that people were trying to reserve ahead of time.
Yeah, but we're not going to be up at. It's already 10.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no way. I don't want to, and it's unsafe. The roads are like covered in ice out here.
Yeah.
You have to. It's going to take probably 2 hours actually to get. It might not take that long before you get a request though.
Yeah, it's not the same as the powder.
Yeah, no, stuff's happened, and it's supposed to snow and sleet more.
The powder was easy to drive on, pretty relatively.
It was. With the all-wheel drive, it really is. The people here, they don't know how to drive in this stuff.
Right, you got to have more distance between you. And
you've been in Vermont.
So, don't go as fast.
You know how to drive in
Yeah,
this
yeah, you
stuff.
got to give time to
You'll
stop.
be, driving
Even if you're
circles.
sliding to a stop, you have to make sure that you're far enough away that you're not
Yeah,
going to run into
you
somebody.
just start pumping the brakes. And
Yeah, and you
I
pump
didn't
the
need to pump
brakes.
the
That's
brakes
right.
at all last night,
Yeah.
really. I did it a
No, you
couple of
did it a couple
times.
times to show your stream
Yeah.
what it was taking to stop and stuff.
If you got bad wheels, then yeah, absolutely you need to be doing that. But we were all right. We were golden.
So, one of the things that was talked about in this tape, which there's some writing on my screen that I don't know if you can all see it. What did I do that for? Oh, my screen's kind of weird.
Hmm. Maybe you need to do. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Well, at least it's warming up tomorrow.
That's not the way it's being transmitted.
Oh. Well, it might be. Well, who knows? Different. Okay, that last one got 400. All right, I'm still pulling out shorts here.
Oh, it's all there when I put it on full. That was only on the partial view. But so my screen talks about, it has the 301 tape 301 from T and Doe's tape, or it's actually Doe and the crew. Doe talking and taking questions from the students that were there, including me at the time. And he talks about security, but I wanted to get to the well, I did touch on this a little bit before, but um, it's
Holy shit, I just looked at that and it only. Oh, okay, I was like, that's the wrong one. Damn. My last short got 444 views already in like 4 minutes and 9 likes. Sorry.
it's all right. I'm not saying anything. Um, I've talked about some of this before in previous streams on this tape 301 quite a bit actually. The streams have this information in it, but I never do as good of a job as Doe does, so I encourage people to find it if you can. There are ways of doing that that don't require money, but I can't talk about that because I've got spies trying to sue me for talking
Evil. They're
about
not
that.
trying to, they are.
Yeah, they're suing me for it.
Evil people.
Yeah, they got their own form of evil, that's for sure.
Yup. They can deny it all they want. What it is.
Being influenced by the lower forces to manipulate somebody else is a characteristic of lower forces. Next level doesn't do that. The next level allows us to have our free will to even go against them. So, the next level themselves weren't ready for the information about the space aliens and the crashed vehicles and to come out to a degree uh, that, well, maybe that is close to where it is now. I don't know for sure if it's close to where it is now, because I mean it's still coming out. You see things in the, I follow different things on Facebook, and I see a lot of the um, clips of Bob Lazar, which is great because he had a lot of things to say that isn't it was it's not a lot necessarily in volume, but it's a lot in the ideas that we I was in the group when we were reviewing Bob Lazar's first material from his experience that he had uh, um, in at this S4 area. But so like with the bending of time and space, so to speak, of the like the waves, like the universe as a waveform, or not the universe, but the dark matter, so to speak, as a waveform, and that you could travel to places that are really distant in a linear way along those waves, or you could catapult over, like through a wormhole or something, into another area that's really far away by linear distance, but is really close because of the way that the waves come up and touch each other at the tops, in the way that he described it, that he learned from the book that was left behind, that was provided. I don't know who left it for him. I don't know where he got the book. Maybe it was on board one of the spacecrafts that crashed. They called it the Yellow Book. And it talked about vehicles as being containers. And that's when Doe started to use that word container because he liked it. He liked that terminology because it was generic. It wasn't, before that he was using the term pillowcase for mind, for the development of mind. And before that, and he was using the word, um, what was the other one? Pillowcase and, oh, I've said it many times. I'm just losing it right now.
Not a vessel.
Well,
A
vehicle,
vase? A
huh?
vase?
Well, yeah, he has used that, the
Yeah, I feel
vase
like I said
idea.
he said vase, yeah.
Yeah, vase idea as well, yes.
But
That's
no, I
right.
don't think that's what you're
But
going
that's not where I'm going from because he said, what was it? All right, maybe it'll come back later. But the idea was, and I didn't get it at the time when he said it in the 1980s, uh, talking about what was forming in each vehicle that was growing. And in particular, he was talking about the members of his class that were working towards graduation because they were some repeat. Some of them were back before, had been in a human vehicle before, even a number of times before they were in this current classroom. So, uh, he was describing the development of uh, that body, and humans would, in the literature of the past would call that a soul. It was such, I think, in the Greek, as opposed to oranos, which is the word for spirit and wind, and breath, oranos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but a different word was used for like the ego or the embodiment, the personality of the person. And I think that we're talking about that in terms of the next level personality. What Tiendo first called a deposit. They said the next level deposited a made a deposit. That's the way they talked about it. They didn't like say a deposit of something. They said they, they made a deposit of mind, and they described it as a chipset also. Um, that was like a computer chip that even had uh, um, its presence contained recognition of what it was. that it was the creation of the seed of a new next level member. And that's why in the records it talks about that the next level is like a farmer that puts out the seeds. And and some of them sprout to become a tree that other creatures can live in. That illustration is the way that the next level grows humans on garden, grows life forms on gardens that become even able to become members of the next level, and still have the choice to leave that next level. So they're not necessarily on totally solid ground until they've overcome all the characteristics. And that's why the Earth civilization that we're in right now was designed to be the laboratory for the development of mind to becoming a member of the next level by being subject to the lower forces minds that don't care about human development except in their spiritual ways or in their scientific ways. They want development of sciences because, like I said before, they were given a next level spacecraft to do their tasks in when they graduated into next level membership. I don't know if that's the way it happened or if there was some other way that it happened that they ended up with spacecrafts. But it's not because they knew how to build a spacecraft. Just like a pilot of a spacecraft now, or a pilot of a jet, or a pilot of a car, doesn't know how to build a car necessarily. In fact, most probably don't. So if they went into the next level and they didn't know how to build a spacecraft, then they weren't gonna uh, uh, get that skill unless they were in a lab in the next level that was trying to work with transportation devices and whatever other things those devices can be made to do. You can have all kinds of operations that can be learned to do if the mind wants to develop in those ways. And that requires both a vehicle and a pilot, the mind, the soul body, that becomes an entity in itself, that has force, that has size, that has substance, is composed of information in a matter, a form of matter, which we're going to say is plasma, like. Let's say plasma like. See, that's another example of an older member, the way that an older member would describe things, because I'm talking about the way that Doe described things right now, the use of words like plasma-like. It's in one of the 1994 tapes where he uses that definition of mind, of spirit, and but what makes him an older member is he didn't just leave it as plasma, because he had something in his mind told him that it wasn't exactly what humans would classify as plasma. So he wanted to be more accurate by saying it's like that in order to give us some idea of its material nature, of its matter nature, of its physicality, in conjunction with the mind frequencies. Because this frequency, the mind, the soul is composed of frequencies, but they're organized. They're a database. They're a module. They, but it's the what we are. All a human vehicle is, and the mind of the human vehicle is the chooser. Tiendo said, we choose what to fill our body with, our mind with. And um, at certain stages of that development, it's not that important what you eat and drink. Like I think during the time 2,000 years ago of the older member, uh, that the name of that vehicle was named Jesus. It wasn't the name of the older member that took over that vehicle. Um, but uh, they like Jesus said that um, don't worry yourself about what you put in your body. Worry about what's coming out of your mouth, not what you're putting into it. Because out of your mouth is where the evil stuff comes out of. Evil stuff meaning the stuff that is separate from the next level ways of thinking and behaving. Like if you're planning on, taking over another country, that's not a next level behavior. They don't do that. Uh, but the space alien souls will do that. They will get humans to do that if they can gain something from that happening. And they can gain something from that happening if they can take that oil and then sell it to have money to be able to have this lab have more facility to develop new human bodies that they can then move into, or to develop spacecrafts that can go anywhere and get off this planet and even start a new civilization somewhere on a different planet. Those ideas that we've seen in science fiction, they came from someplace too. Now, some of them are, strictly imagination, you know, uh, but but potentially none of it's entirely imagination. It's hard to know where to draw the line on what's possible and what's not possible. You really can't. A human really can't say that that couldn't be that way. And that planet couldn't have beings growing on it that stand 1,000 feet tall and have 100 eyes, and can levitate and fly, and who's to say what's possible. But there is a practical reality to the next level. They don't do things. They don't create things that are uh, inefficient, but uh, but mind can grow from all kinds of opportunities. But a lot of the opportunities are equivalents, and so they don't need to have a whole bunch of different shapes and sizes unless there's a reason for it. I mean, they do have shapes and sizes and colors and other characteristics of different vehicles that they grow for their members to wear. It is like wearing a vehicle, but they don't like take off one vehicle and then put it in the closet and then put on this other one to go to a party. I don't know if they have parties, but they can have gatherings of members. In fact, T&O said that when the graduates got back, they would have a big celebration, and the members of the next level would be there. And that's not a huge number. The only way that T&O talked about it was that it was in the thousands. So that could be, I guess, anywhere up from up to 1 million, right? 999,000. But they weren't saying that to be accurate, except in the general sense. Now a human, a lot of times will say, well, the planet is 1 million years old, or that body, because we've examined the spectrographs and the colors, and we know that these elements work together in this way to produce this color, and therefore we know this kind of operation is happening, and so therefore we can backwards engineer that to show that that started to develop 1 million years ago. I'm just making an example, right? But they could be missing an entire part of the development of that planet by that. And it might, so to yes, if a human qualified that this is an approximate age, that's a better a human being more accurate in the way that they're talking about things that they don't really know that much about. Even though the next level does give humans the ability to observe a lot, a real lot, and learn from it. Because the next level is not trying to hold back information that they know can be used on the planet to help develop the technology of the planet to where it won't be superstition to think that we could be on all different places on this planet and have a picture of each of us talking together. That idea, 1,000 years ago would have been complete folly, and they would have locked you up if you had thoughts like that. Yeah. But now it's not. And that's the way it's been with the development of technology for the entire civilization, to where the end of the age is the time when the most technology is available, because the next level has allowed it to happen, and they seeded the planet with the ability to do that, even through the knowledge that the ones that dropped away and went against the next level had, of knowing that there are and having spacecrafts that actually did demonstrate technologies that humans hadn't grown to have by the 1940s and 50s. But now humans have some of those technologies in theirs, and they're trying to develop more. And so the next level wanted that to happen, because then we can see the reality of the next level instead of thinking of it superstitiously like some being in the air, some big head of a white uh, guy with a beard, like a Santa Claus looking guy. That's God. That's the picture of God, according to what? The white people, right? So
Chat.
So it's it becomes the people that write the history and allow the history to come to us are some of the same ones that are misrepresenting history. But at the same time, can have its reflection on reality. Where is that? Oh yeah, it's right here. What's in the chat? I mean seventh, not eighth. Let me see. Oh yeah, so Krell says. Oh, Tab says, I think Sook.
Don't read stuff out loud if it's crazy. Read it first.
Yeah, right. Is soul in Greek, and pneuma is spirit. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. But I guess you verified it. So thank you.
Nice.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I said it wrong. I said it as Oranos, and Oranos is the word for heaven, I believe. Unless I'm getting that wrong. So pneuma is the word for spirit. Thank you for that.
Pneuma.
Tab.
Huh.
P-N-E-U-E-M-A.
P-N-E-U-M-A.
P-N-E-U. P-N-U-E-M-A.
Like pneumonia almost.
Yeah. Which is like what, a disease of the lungs, right?
Yeah, like the
And
air,
the breath. Spirit is breath, yeah. Like psychology is a study of the mind, right? The mind being the soup. I don't know if that's the way to say that.
Gotcha. The sigh.
Yeah. And then Krell says, oh yeah, that DoorDash stream was cool. I saw some parts. Yeah.
I'm pulling out a bunch of shorts right now. Go look at all of them, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I would love it if you make comments. I mean, you don't have to, but if people feel so inclined. Help
Yeah.
the channel blow up. I am going to, like, once we start making money, like, everybody makes money too. This is for all of us, okay?
Don't know how that's going to be structured, but
I don't care, but I heard a
Kathy wants to
voice.
do it, so
I
who
heard a
knows?
voice. I heard a voice in my head, and it said, "What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with what I'm about to give you? I'm going to watch you and see what you do with it."
Now that to me sounds like something a member of the next level would say, because I mean, exact those words. I'm not just saying that. I'm not saying that. And I don't know that as a fact. You know, the next level can also send us spirits that will give us what we want if we want something, because they want to see what we do with it.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how it happens. It's the message that's important.
And I know what I'm wanting to do with it. So I want you guys to come along too, as long as you don't hate me. I don't want anybody there that just wants to see me fail or us struggle.
No,
Screw you, Mark. Screw
no,
you, Mark.
no. We don't need the negative influences to actually bolster our views and things.
Nope.
No, people thrive on that sometimes on YouTube.
Yep, and we're not doing that.
Right? They get people to hate on
Positivity
them, and
only.
they still make money from the haters.
Yep, we're growing in positivity,
We
and we're
don't
going
want
to take
haters.
everybody with us that wants to come along. It's going to be beautiful, and I want you all there.
So Tab says, isn't 999 the number for the eighth chakra in yoga?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I never really studied yoga.
Nice.
And I don't know much about the chakras, uh, except that they have their relevance to reality, I believe, as energy centers. I don't doubt that, because people that got that view, that vision, that information, uh, were no doubt a next level experiment to help us recognize that there are energy centers in the body. Now, the thing is with that, you see some in the sciences, at least on the outside, don't really talk about that kind of thing. But some have in the sciences have embraced the science of mind, if you want to call it that. And and to me, that's a more well-rounded scientist that is not discounting the mind as an influence on the vehicle. And even also the mind affected by the vehicle. Because if your body, if your vehicle has a real, strong ache and pain or something, you need
Like
to,
Brad Nody.
yeah. So then the mind can have a hard time uh, uh, dealing with it and trying to make a positive out of it and having energy. Because you know how pain depletes the vehicle of energy.
I do wonder if there's some things that you just really can't make a positive out of.
I don't know.
Like,
I think with the next level involved, I think everything can be. That's my opinion on that. I mean, like,
go on. We
in a
don't have to
sense,
keep
what you're
talking
saying,
about it,
though,
but
is what I was talking about before.
I
By
have to think about it a lot
somebody
more.
having a vehicle that isn't able to give them many opportunities for growth, then it may be a positive to leave that vehicle. You know what I mean? But, uh,
Instead of just having it all cushy.
yeah.
Excuse me. Anything happening in the chat?
When it wouldn't look like it was a positive.
Well, I was thinking more of, like, mass death kind of stuff.
Oh.
Or like, what's going on in Minneapolis. Like, it's hard to find positives, and like maybe we don't need to. Like, we need to look at the horror of it
Well, a
and
million
the
people showing
positive.
their light is
Well, that
kind of
I'm
a
just saying,
positive.
like, that's the positive, but we don't need to like find a positive in, you know, 10 armed men holding down one armed man that they
No,
then unarmed and then shot
no,
him to death. Like,
no,
we
no.
don't need to find the positive, and there is no positive in that, except that a million people went out and are, protesting. We're going to get to the point, and it is already getting to the point there very quickly, where we realizing that protesting is not doing shit. It's not doing anything.
Well, that's the way it's been. I was starting to talk about that
Right, but so
before.
now we know though, like, they're killing us. They're going to keep killing us. The protesting is not working, so we have to start fighting back. And the
But
people that
don't
are
provoke them, though.
I'm not provoking that, but the people that are capable of doing that, if and
Yeah,
we're capable of doing is we have this platform for as long as we have it. You have yours, I have mine.
yeah.
Everybody that has a platform needs to speak out against this shit. Because if you don't, then you agree. If
No,
you,
I don't
no,
go
I'm
there.
dead serious. Right now is the time to stand up. Those people in Nazi Germany that did not
I don't
stand
agree
up,
with you.
that watched their neighbors being led away, they agreed by not saying anything. And now they're on the wrong side of history. They're fucking cowards.
Maybe, baby.
I told you that I will give my life. If we're on the street and we're driving by and we see some shit like what's going down right now, I hope that I stop and try to stop it and help. I will not let people be taken away to wherever they're taking people away to.
Well, that's your choice, of course, and I'm not
Right.
saying what
And I
I'm
think
going to
that
do.
everybody else needs to
But
do that, or else they're
well,
going
no.
to
See,
kill us
you
all.
can't actually tell people to do that.
Oh, no, I'm not telling
That's not
people
right.
to. I'm just saying what I think about it, what my personal opinion is. I'm not saying let's rally the troops and do whatever.
Because it sounds like it the way you're talking. That you're doing that. You're rallying the troops.
Well, they're rallying the troops too.
Well, that doesn't make it good.
And like I was saying,
That
like the
doesn't
Native
make it right
Americans,
to be fighting fire with
like
fire.
the people that are in control right now are the ones that came that like it's the same ancestral bloodline like you were talking about before. Like
Yeah,
it's those same
I
souls. It's
know.
the same damn people that owned slaves and that lynched black people and cut literally they cut babies out of wombs. Like this is hard shit to talk about. But everybody wants to look away until there's people hanging from the fucking
I'm not
trees.
telling anybody to look
I
away,
know, but
but I
I'm
don't
just
want to
saying,
be. I
like,
don't
it's
want
hard
to
to talk
appear to be
about, but
telling people that they must do this or must do that.
I just think people need to really look at the reality of what's going on here.
I mean, you can take this to
This
any
kind of thing,
degree.
this is the stuff
You know,
that's going on in
you can say
Somalia
that
and
okay,
Rwanda,
from
where
now
they went
on
into a hospital and
we're
killed
not gonna drive
400
cars
people.
because we don't want to support the profits of the people that are living off of the billions of
Well,
dollars
it is
from
kind of,
oil that are, you know.
well,
I
that's
mean,
like,
boycotts can have their value,
right.
right? Okay,
Well,
so
like I
fine.
will never ever step foot in another Target again. I didn't before because I didn't really care for their values before. But now that they're letting ICE stage inside of their fucking stores, they're letting ICE come into their stores. They're encouraging them. And they're letting them take people out of their stores. They're letting them in their parking lots, staging. Now, is Walmart doing that? Not yet.
Walmart was used as a boycott before this.
I'm just saying there are companies right now that are supporting this shit. And if we support those companies, we support it. Like IBM is still in existence. JP Morgan Chase is still in existence. And
Yep,
guess what JP Morgan Chase has been supporting? Fucking Jeffrey Epstein, right?
yep.
And now isn't it funny that Donald Trump is turning on JP Morgan Chase? I wonder why. Because the shit's about to hit the fucking fan with the Epstein stuff. It really is. They can't keep holding it back much longer.
I don't know about
And
that.
everybody's freaking out about it.
I
And
know.
JP Morgan Chase gave billions of dollars to Epstein.
Right.
They had to pay millions of dollars out to the victims that they raped, probably murdered, tortured,
That's right. They did.
brutalized,
They paid for that. That's
and
right.
then they've shut these women up and down
Yep.
and all around.
Yep.
There are over 2,000 women. All of them are lying.
I don't know.
Maybe 30 of them, maybe 100 of them,
I
who
don't know what the
knows?
number is.
But
Doesn't
not,
matter.
we know that Epstein was doing these things. We know all these people were going there. We know Trump was fucking going there. He's on the flight records. He said, I was going there, but I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I didn't know about any of that. Yeah, he took girls from my spa at Mar-a-Lago. He took 13-year-old Virginia Guffrey from my... What the fuck you talking about you didn't know? That shit's about to all hit the fan, and he is terrified.
He is not.
Yeah, he is. Why do you think he's going on Minneapolis right now?
I don't think it's all like a plan to divert from
Part
that.
of it is they want the voter rolls.
I think they want to get rid of those people.
They want to get rid of everybody that did not vote for Donald Trump. They have the the voter rolls for Texas. Why do you think people that we know that
What do you
live
mean
here?
get rid of everybody that didn't vote for Trump?
What are they doing in Minneapolis right now?
Getting rid of everybody that didn't vote for Trump? How's that?
Just keep watching.
Do you know about the Minneapolis
I'm sure there are
voting machine tabulation?
Yeah, I'm sure there's things. Okay, so right, so if our voting is so corrupt, then how is Trump the president?
Because they couldn't do it again. Because there was so much watching.
How is any president?
So many people were watching the voting machine.
How is any president in? Oh, okay. So Trump didn't manufacture his win in 2016. How is any president of this fucking country? It's all rigged. Yes,
well, they were surprised by that.
Biden was rigged.
I believe that's
Trump
possible.
was rigged. Obama was rigged.
No, not rigged entirely.
Yes, they are. It's all corrupt. We saw that with Gore and Bush. Fuck, Gore won.
I think there's not
Hillary
one paintbrush, one color for all these things.
But there really is, though.
Well, yes, but that's an overview that's talking about the lower forces of the space alien souls that are using humans.
Well, we see what's happening now that they're in full power, and he removed everybody. He dismantled all of the departments that had some kind of little maybe power to push back. All those people are gone, and everybody else, they're resigning. They're all giving up and going away. And guess who's replacing them? People that are in step with the party line. This is Nazi Germany in America.
Every administration does that.
No, not like what's happening right now.
I believe that's
This is where you and I fight a lot. You say every administration does that. Yes, that's true. But not like what's happening right now.
You might be right about that.
You haven't watched all the footage that I happened to unfortunately see this morning. It's horrifying.
Well, there's also footage that's being put into that as misinformation.
But that's not. I don't watch that stuff though.
How do you know the difference?
Because I'm watching.
I have to see like 3 different sources.
Because you are watching a lot of stuff that is AI generated because that's your algorithm on YouTube. Remember we discussed this. My algorithm on YouTube is not that. I have like legitimate on the ground people that are not like news reporters or anything. They're just people that live in these places that are live streaming. They're doing shorts. Like they're not making this shit up. They're filming with their phones. Thousands of people in Minneapolis are doing that right now.
So what does that mean?
I'm just saying watch that footage and you see what ICE is doing. They're not just like going and getting up Somali people. They're going door to door. They're banging doors in. They're breaking people.
And you're saying if the people that answer the door are color, have black skin, then they take them away.
Or brown, yes.
They do?
Yes.
Automatically take them away?
Yes, they take them away.
No matter,
and they put them in the car and they drive. Yes,
if they're white, they don't take anybody?
Listen to me. They drive them around for hours and then they drop them off somewhere randomly miles away.
No blaze to get, no way to get home?
Exactly. That's
Everybody
what they've done.
in Minneapolis is going through that?
Hundreds of people right now, yes.
Being taken out of their houses?
Yes, watch the videos. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making it up. Watch the fucking footage. Hundreds of people are posting, if not thousands. I've been
How do you
sharing
know
it.
those aren't bots?
Watch the videos.
Videos can be bots too.
I understand that. I'm just saying, watch the same. Watch it.
You're sounding too certain about that to me, because
I don't want to argue about it anymore.
I do stay close to
I know,
the
and this is where you and I
some
have
things.
problems where we get like into serious arguments, and we don't really want to do that right now on the live stream.
Well,
And my voice still does need to recover.
all right.
And I know I just said a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you know, you have a
And
lot
I
to
know
say,
you
and
get to
that's
say a bunch
fine.
of stuff, but you're
But
gonna
I'm not gonna. I'm
automatically.
gonna respond. I'm not
I
gonna
know,
automatically, but I'm
no,
gonna
you're gonna
address the
start
things.
downgrading it, and you're gonna say, "Well, that's what always has been going on." But the shit is happening that is different right now.
I'm not
You
saying
were
it's
right
not different.
before.
I'm
You
not
were
saying
right
it's.
before when you said the world is ending.
I
There's
know. I know that.
apocalyptic stuff.
I
Like
know that.
you're right.
I know that. But I don't think
And
you.
it's happening here
I
in the
don't think
United
you're
States.
seeing it all accurately.
I know I'm not. But this isn't the time to be flippant and to say like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal because it's happened like this in the past. And it's not going to like, this isn't the time to like sugarcoat anything. It's the time to be like how I am. To be on fire and angry and fight these motherfuckers before they kill everybody and then come for us. We can hide for a little while because we're white, but we're not there. I look like a fucking dyke. They will shoot me if I get in front of them and be saying crazy stuff. They'll kill me dead.
Well, don't put yourself
Just
in that
for
position.
speaking my mind and protesting, I get killed now in this country. That's what we have to fight for. That's why this country is this country. We can do these things. Now we're being scared. We
We're not going
can't
to be
do
able to
it.
do these things because we're not going to know what the truth is.
We do know what the truth is.
Not
though.
all the time. Not all the
We
time.
do in this regard. When a fellow human being is being hurt and they can't help themselves and we can help them en masse, a lot of us can stop on the street like they're doing in Minneapolis and we can help.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. I mean, I'm not
There's
saying that's not a
22
good
there's
thing.
22,000 of them right now. They're getting if the Senate passes the funding for them, they're going to get an additional 79,000 agents. That's how many more of these motherfuckers they want on the streets with us. 79,000 more of them. Right now they have 22,000. And look what they're doing. 8 of them held a guy down and shot him to death. And then one of them was in the background clapping while they were doing it. That's fucking horrifying. And then our government said,
I agree with you.
All these guys did the right thing. They're heroes.
I know, and the same thing with good. We talked about that earlier. It's the same
But gosh,
situation
that wasn't as
where
bad as
it was
just
a murder.
one guy. Like that was clear, you know. That
no
I mean,
difference.
that
It's a
was
murder, a
bad. I
murder.
know. But this was 8 of them holding this guy down.
Yeah,
Like it was pretty horrible.
that's true.
To see.
It is more horrible to see 8 people doing
It's a
it.
different shift.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like
Somebody's
henchmen.
clapping, and then they all walked away, and they're not letting the state investigate. They're not letting anybody investigate. That's unheard of. If the police shoot somebody, there's an investigation.
Yeah, it's true.
So ICE can shoot people, and nobody is allowed to like things are really, really wrong. We're at a real sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's time to.
Krell says, glad we have a good community where I'm at. I mean, it has issues, but. Then Krell says, yeah, I don't know. He was receiving all that money when he worked for Bear Stearns and Chummy and the Victoria's Secret guy, but the real money came from you know what, and that's glossed over by New York Times, right? Yep.
Yeah, everybody.
All right, folks. I think probably on that note.
Right before we get
I'm not really.
I'm just scared. And I
You know,
think that we're at a point where if everybody bands together right now, like if the Native Americans had banded together, the United States would look a lot different than it does right now. It would look a lot different than it does right now. And it's about to look a lot like we're not going to have any more presidents. He's going to declare martial law very soon.
probably. I wouldn't doubt that.
And what we've heard from other people from other countries, it's too late when martial law is declared. You need to get out before. So we are in the right place where we're at. That's why we're the next level brought us here.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
We're close. We're 4 hours away.
You know, I don't recognize what you're saying. Like I recognize other things that you said tonight, and
I don't
that
think you're
from
scared.
Tiando's mind. And you want me to be more scared, I know, but I'm not that scared
But I think
about
we
it.
need to be.
Well, I'm gonna maybe because I'm old, I don't think
It's
about
happening in your lifetime.
having longevity. You know.
Lifetime.
Yeah, but you know, I've already accepted that I'm gonna lose this vehicle,
Get
and
your girl to a safe space.
I'm not
Before your
planning on.
old man do something.
I
You got
mean,
plenty more years left in you, Bubba.
yeah, well,
Bubba.
we'll see about that.
You got plenty.
We never know how much we
We
got.
don't, but we will profess that you have plenty.
All right, well, you've got to see a little bit of the Kathy Sawyer show, and which the Sawyer Kathy show. I'm not trying to put in the
Nah,
you
don't put
know
me first. It's just the spelling.
put somebody first with it.
It's a Sawyer cat.
But um, so yeah, it's good to see because
I think.
why not? What's wrong with it? You know, it's like Kathy doesn't have any bad intentions towards anybody.
Gosh.
If anybody hears what she's saying, yes, she speaks with a lot of passion and a lot of
I want all
conviction,
those people to like,
and
yeah,
you know, so yes,
don't be doing those things.
that's all positive things.
Don't
It'd be
do those
nice
things.
if we could stop it.
It'd
I
be nice
wish.
if words would work with them then. I don't know why it's not. They're mean. They want to kill us all. They hate us.
Yeah, I think they want to enslave us rather than kill us.
Right, but they're
Most of us,
willing they're
or
willing
not
to
feed us
kill.
anymore. So they want to get rid of the people that are just using up the oil. So they may have that justification on their minds. I know that's something that Bill Gates talked about. I watched him talk about it on the TED stage. That there had to be some reduction in numbers, just a matter of how. And he even said that the vaccines could help with that. Wasn't that weird when he was saying things like that? You know, he was putting out the vaccines and saying that the vaccines could help with the reduction of the population. You know, I think he was talking about like birth control, maybe. That was his idea with that. But it ends up happening with the mRNA technology that's been so under tested and so detrimental to the population. That was another way that they were trying to kill us and get rid of us, and also stop the ability of the labor market to have to pay for labor. During COVID, one of the biggest things that came out of that is a lot of the big corporations sent people home to work at home. They didn't have to pay for office space. They got rid of people. People, I know. I was right before that happened. I was actually on part of. I was working for J.P. Morgan, Chase Manhattan Bank. I was a programmer of reports. I was hired as a contractor. And the individuals that were the programmers that had been there for years and years were getting paid much more than me. And they had tenure. And they were losing their jobs because uh, they were moving to the mortgage office from New Jersey, Island, New Jersey. They were moving it to Florida because the labor was cheaper in Florida. And they were changing their name so they could get around certain contracts and things. And so I was hired to change the name on different reports. Simple as that. I never actually did that task much. I did a little bit of it, but I did another task first. But and then my contract ended. But uh, the programmers that they were using were from India. There was a whole contingency of about 20 programmers on this floor of this office building where I was working, and they said they were being trained to go back to India to work, so they would know how to run all the systems and do all the help and everything else from India because it's cheaper labor. So that's what. So they don't want to give people a fair wage, and also the people that had gotten tenure, they wouldn't do the tasks that they were given to do, and because of their job description, they didn't have to. And I witnessed that in person in two different ways, in two different contexts, when I worked for a company called AdStar as a programmer, and I worked and in the newspapers of all the big newspapers in New York and other places. Um, were trying to get rid of all their uh, people that they hired as typesetters because they didn't need typesetting anymore. And their contracts, though, didn't allow them to do that. So they were buying them out and pressuring them to leave the job. Uh, so they're always looking for ways to reduce the labor force and send people at home, and then they don't have to pay for that. And if they can make them contractors, then they don't have to pay health coverage, and they don't like that. And so anyway, I guess I took over the discussion into my
You're supposed
experience
to.
with corporations.
That's what you're supposed to be doing. But it is almost 11.
Yeah, so I'm going to say goodnight. It's old school Dave saying, have a good one. Thanks,
Thank you.
buddy.
You too. I think Sawyer's going to be working tomorrow, and then I'll be back at it. No, we're moving. Well, we'll see what's happening.